What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another new movie review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the newest movie that was supposed to get a theatrical release, but because of the pandemic it went straight to on demand, and that is for The King of Staten Island. This movie is written and directed by Judd Apatow, who's directed many great movies: 40-Year-Old Virgin, Funny People, Knocked Up. And this movie stars Pete Davidson, Marissa Tomei, and Bill Burr. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. The King of Staten Island follows this guy named Scott, played by Pete Davidson from SNL. And this guy has had a very rough life. His father passed away when he was only 7. He was a firefighter in a huge fire accident, and so he has lived his whole life with nothing but anger and grief over his father's death. And so he's now a 24-year-old guy who is still living with his mother and his sister, younger sister, who's about to go off to college. And basically everybody around him is telling him to grow up and move on from his dead father. And so he basically has a passion for being a tattoo artist, and he has to try to figure out who he is for himself and if he can grow up and move past what happened with his father. Judd Apatow is a filmmaker that has a really big passion for comedy as well as coming-of-age movies. You know, he got the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Funny People, and Knocked Up, some of his very well-known classic movies, and I think Judd Apatow is a very great filmmaker. I was excited about this movie when I first saw the trailer for it, and it got me really invested with it. It seemed like it would be a really good movie. I love the cast involved in here. I don't watch SNL as much anymore, so I don't know Pete Davidson as much. I know he's really funny in SNL. And then you got other great comedians in here like Bill Burr, which I can't wait to talk about him. I am very happy to report The King of Staten Island is far better than I thought it ever was. This is actually a really good movie. But it was more than just a comedy. It's actually a really great drama as well. It balances both of the genres perfectly into one movie. It does a lot of things that I kind of expected but also did not expect at the same time, and it's just a really great all-around movie to enjoy watching during the summer season. Pete Davidson, of course I need to talk about this guy. A 26-year-old guy. He is so great and committed to this role. Pete Davidson is a phenomenon in the coming, and I hope to see this guy in more movies because he is a fantastic actor. Every time he makes these very sarcastic jokes, he always does it very brutally honestly in like the most deadpan straight face possible, and that's just my type of comedy. I was also very impressed with his dramatic performance in here because, my goodness, this character Scott at the start, it's just messed up. He's so selfish in a lot of ways, and he has so much remorse after what happened to his father, and he's just bringing everything down on his family members, his friends, and it's just messed up. He's smoking pot. This kid is making a lot of bad choices, and it really dives into this character really well, because at the start, you don't like this guy. You don't care about him yet, but throughout the film, I just started to care about what he was going through. I wanted him to make the right decisions possible. Marissa Tomei also was really great as the mother. She plays typical Marissa Tomei from the start. But then her character starts to, become the mother. And she really beats down and becomes very confident as a mother towards her son Scott, trying to get him to grow up and move on. And I was just really floored by Marissa Tomei's performance, but I was also floored with Bill Burr in this movie, who was my second favorite performance. Love Bill Burr, love his stand-up comedy, love him in all the little small roles he showed up in the past, like Mandalorian, Breaking Bad. And in here, he plays this boyfriend to Marissa Tomei, who they're going to eventually get married at some point, so they start dating. And his first scene in this movie involving him and Pete Davidson getting into this really heated fight, it's so funny. It's so well written. Bill Burr was great in here. The screenplay in here works. It's very full of Judd Apatow-isms as well as real-life situations thrown into a blender into one. And I loved it, man. I love the story. I love the back and forth dialogue, the comedy dialogue, as well as the serious. This movie really dives into loss very well. It really, explores what it feels like to lose someone like a family member. And it also explores the positives to that. And with Scott's character, Pete Davidson, he starts to learn that just because his father died doing this really dangerous job, which is a firefighter, you start to learn the positives to it. And also another actor that shows up in here that I did not expect, Steve Buscemi. I've always loved him as an actor. Love him in Reservoir Dogs and Big Daddy. And whenever he shows up in here, his character too added some really great scenes in here. Not really much big issues to talk about in here. I would say this movie is very predictable in a lot of specific scenes. Some scenes I didn't see coming, but pretty much I could predict what was going to happen pretty much the whole entire movie. And I was right, but I wasn't angry about that. I really liked the way the story was going towards the end of the movie. Also, I was a little bit left unanswered with the ending shot or the ending of this movie. I won't spoil it. There was something I wanted to happen, but it didn't. Or did it? Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts on Judd Apatow's The King of Staten Island, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel and you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on this movie, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you like this review, consider clicking that subscribe button, because I do tons of movie reviews on this channel, ranking videos, end of the month Blu-ray hauls, and I also have a podcast called the Fallen for Film Podcast, where me and my co-host Colin Williams dive into all the movies, trends, the newest movie news, and talk tons of movie-related content. And the best thing is, I do this on a weekly basis. The King of Staten Island is a really great blend of comedy and drama. Judd Apatow makes another great movie all around for just families and people to watch all around. Pete Davidson's a phenomenon. Bill Burr, Marissa Tomei, the whole cast is fantastic in here. I was very satisfied with how this movie was going, and I was just pleasantly surprised by this movie. On my rating scale, The King of Staten Island gets an A+. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on The King of Staten Island. Have you guys seen The King of Staten Island? Are you going to go see it because of my review? And if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you love it? Think it was okay? Or did you absolutely hate it? Thank you guys, as always, for watching this review. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!